share. Yeah, it's too dangerous.
Okay, well, geez, now I feel funny sitting all the way down here.
You
More people coming.
here?
Yeah,
Yeah, you sit here.
as long as we're all, I think we're all on.
You sit here.
I get to be pretty in the picture. Hold on.
I don't want to be in the picture.
It looks good.
I want to be here.
There. Do I get everybody? Yeah, I do.
I'm trying all the seats.
Okay.
They are comfortable.
Ooh, I haven't sat on
Yes,
this yet.
that's nice. Yeah. Welcome to my bench.
Okay.
Want this over there?
Oh, yeah, okay. Thank you.
Oops.
All right, we're gonna call to order. I think we're a few minutes late. Miss Lisa, would you like to do roll call, please?
I would love to. I wish I was there around that brand new table.
I wish you were too.
Lori,
Yep,
Julia,
Here.
Jeff,
Here.
Dave. No Dave.
Absent.
Nancy,
Here.
Craig. Looks like Craig's absent.
he's supposed to be virtual.
Okay. And Chris.
Absent.
Okay. And then we have Lisa Hober, treasurer. And it looks like from public, we have Mike Sullivan and Peggy Flynn.
Okay. And you have Lisa, I'm sorry, right?
Yep. I got Lisa Hober. Yep.
Okay, thank you. Just because we have two public, I'm just gonna do a quick guidelines for the public. If you want to speak during the public comment, please begin your comments by stating your full name and your address. Please direct all your questions to the chair. You're allocated a maximum of 5 minutes. And we ask you to adhere to that, please. The board will not interact. However, we will consider your comments and we'll discuss them at a later time. And the public commentary is only permitted during the designated public comment segment. So those are the guidelines. Member correspondence. There was a member that sent me an email that thought it was difficult to join the board meetings. You know, the member thought that it was easier if we had a Zoom or some other link that we sent out. And I explained to him that we use Google Suites as our platform, and that you simply go to the website, click on events, click on the day and then details. And I gave him the breakdown. I've never heard anybody else have an issue, but maybe an email blast or something on how to access the board meetings, or, you know, to be interactive. But I'm a little techie, so I don't, it doesn't bother me, but and then other member correspondence was there was issues with boats being moored down at the North Reserve Beach dock again, which we've looked into and we'll probably discuss later in the meeting. So I'm going to move into officers report. I'm trying to move fast. I don't know if you've all noticed or not, but we've been sending out 2 newsletters. One's a short printable version. I've had a lot of requests for that. No pictures, none of the other. And then the other one's just a regular version. So I just wanted to comment on that. And I thought it was it was Gary's wife that thought it up. And so I thought that was a really nice thing for people who want to print that are here, that don't want to print all the pictures and everything else. And then I also wanted to mention that Corinne is moving in 2 days. And she has asked me to meet with her today. She asked me to meet with her tomorrow or Wednesday, so I'm going to do that. But it's very sad to see her leave. I think that's all I have for my reports. And then Lynn Chrissy sent according to financial reports, Lynn Chrissy sent a report, just stating that, you know, all the tax bills were mailed out. And she gave out, I forgot the number. There was a good number of people that came down to the town hall meeting before the meeting to collect the their taxes without her mailing. I was there. I did not. So that was really the most of her report. So we'll move into our treasurer, Lisa.
Okay, still running QuickBooks and Quicken. It's going okay so far. I'm hoping to go forward this fiscal using the QuickBooks reports, because Quicken still has the glitch on the budget versus actuals, and it has an additional glitch. So that's all new. But past that, I don't have much else. I'm expecting via email communication with DeFilio this week. I've been told I should be expecting our draft for our financial review for 23-24. And other than that, I know I put out an email, but I am going away the 9th through the 16th. I think I have to get with Lynn, because I think Lynn's going to have a lot of activity. I'm going to ask Lynn Chrissy to hold on to the normal batches for tax payments that she gives me, because
She's going to be gone too.
really that same week?
She's going to be gone until the 27th, I think.
I think that,
So we'll talk about that because we need mailbox attendance. So myself or Julia will go to the mailbox.
Actually different.
yeah, you know what? Here, maybe
They give me the key
You're
to
gonna
the,
throw it to the computer?
I have this big brown leather envelope. If we want to use it for just all mail, you know, all obviously taxes for Lynn. I mean, if you want to pull out.
all right, well,
Yeah, we'll talk about it. Yeah, I didn't realize I was gonna email her today and say, hey, I just so you know, I'm not gonna be here.
so, all right, we'll work it out. Not a problem.
Okay.
Um,
Do you have
Okay,
anything for me?
yeah. So I know you're still like closing the books and you want the DeFilio thing, but when are we going to see June reports?
Oh, are they not on the drive?
No.
Well, by tonight then.
Okay, thank you. And I just thought, you know, we talk about quickly, please, hold on. I do have your preliminary, which is, I know it's not in stone yet, the one you sent me from QuickBooks. So we currently have in our reserves, we went from 99,000 something to 135,000. And I do want to speak to that just a little bit. So last fiscal,
Yep.
I should say the fiscal before, not to confuse anybody. We prepaid $4,000 in our taxes to East Haddam, which would have been this last fiscal. We paid 7,000 and change for our umbrella policy. We also didn't pay 2.3K to a properties person. So I don't want it to seem like to the community that we didn't budget properly. We did. If you look at all of that, and I'm sure I'm missing stuff, but that's like 15,000 that would have been budgeted in that year. So I just want to make a point of that for the public to kind of have that in their pockets. But right now we do have 135,000 in our general reserves-ish.
Yes, and to
And $89.58.
yeah, so just to pile on there, it was a perfect storm at the end of the year, just with just so many different entities not delivering their bills to us. But I mean, if you look at it, we also went over in a couple of categories that I'm sure the budget committee will use that information going forward. But it was a perfect storm. And had we gotten all the bills we were supposed to get, we would have been closer.
Right. So I just wanted to mention that for the public, that, you know, whoever watches. And I think that's it. So Lisa, you're closed then, right?
I have closed, and I apologize. I thought I put those reports up there. I will get them up there before the end of this meeting.
Oh, that's okay. I didn't know.
But I can pull up the thing about quick. Too many quick words. What did I send you, Lori? It wasn't a BVA. It was a
A statement of financial position.
just hold on one second, because I want to.
July 9th.
I know, but I want to make sure that that number. Yeah, we are 135.89. Actually, we should have been 189. Yeah, that's the number that I gave you.
$135,089.58. And that's in the general allocated reserves. That's not in the dam drawings, dam repair. It's not on.
So it would be it's under capital reserve account.
Right. So the total of our other current assets that include that are $205,765.29.
200, you have 205?
Yeah.
All right.
Well,
we'll pick this apart later. I mean, it's a matter of me going back and forth between two programs. And if they don't match.
right. That's in the capital reserve, please, not in the operating. Nothing to do with the operating. Anyway,
Right.
talk later. Okay.
Yeah.
Lisa, Julia has a question.
Yep.
Did you receive the Shagbark invoice today?
I did not.
Okay. It was delivered.
Okay. So yeah. And I usually get it right when they do it. So I'll look for it in the next couple of days, or I'll call them for it, because I want to take 5% on that.
Thank you. Okay. Any other questions for Lisa? Thanks, Lisa. So obviously Dave is not here, but I just wanted to mention that tomorrow, with the asset management, and I'm not going to say the procurement, because right now this is more asset management. Tomorrow I'm meeting with Valerie from the financial committee at town with Tim Pelton regarding the dam and all of the funding that has been, we did find out we had more funding than we thought we did. And before Ed Bader had departed, he had secured much more funding than we knew about. So we have just learned about that, and we're going to sit down and meet with Valerie tomorrow and find out where we stand with funding. So we've been told right now we're about 107,000, and we don't even know if it's reimbursable. We think it may be available, which is also beneficial. So we're going to find out more tomorrow, more to come. I would say any questions, but I don't really have any answers. I got to find out tomorrow. But no, really, if anybody has any input, I'm okay with that. Go ahead, Lisa.
I just want to add to that, because it's financial.
That's why
If you go, and I did a deep dive. Has anybody ever been to ClearGov? You can go to East Hatham's proposed budget. Have you been there? Have you seen the mission statement with regards to why they reimburse us? Just say for LQuick.
yes.
The mission statement is almost, it reads like it's not. So their interest in this lake is not a charity. It helps their large tax base as a whole, because we're so densely populated. That's all I wanted to say.
So it's the Lake Associate, the Three Lakes, East Haddam Lake Association that reaches out to the Board of Finance and requests the funding. And that's where you'll see the whole write-up in the Board of Finance's write-up. It's actually from the East Haddam Lake Association. And it's very well documented. It's a good resource. Thank you, Lisa. Okay. So I'm going to move on to insurance. Again, Dave is not here, but he and I have been working closely with the underwriters, and So they did not know about our detention basin. They do now, which that's only been a couple of years that we've had it. And I think when the forms, every year the forms need to be filled out. So I'm filling out the forms and they go, do you have a retention pond? And I'm like, yeah, I think so. So there were a few things that they weren't aware of that we do have. So our renewal quote has gone up quite a bit. And I say that I don't have exact numbers yet. I have really close numbers. And I did communicate that to Tish earlier today. So right now, the total premium, okay, so that includes our employee dishonesty, our D&O, our excess liability, which is our umbrella, and our workers' compensation. We're at $39,621. And I think, I want to say, I'm going to pull it out of my brain. Last year was like 33,000. And I could be off a couple thousand. So what did go up considerably was the excess liability, which was the umbrella. And they worked very hard trying to get us down, but it actually doubled. There's more information to come. I don't have all the information yet, but that's what it's looking like.
When's that due?
July 21st. They haven't even sent us this
That happens all the time. It says, don't worry about it.
FOP. Yeah.
So we're covered.
Yeah. So every year since I've been on like, I think last year, Lisa and I had to keep asking them for the invoice.
But we have coverage without the invoice.
Yeah. We did finding. I signed everything.
Okay.
Everything's found already. So,
All right.
yeah. So I thought I'd pass that on, and there's a little bit more information to come. And we're still working on the writer. And the only thing they need the writer for is festival/carnival. Everything else is fine as long as food trucks and bands are insured and so forth. So we are going to change the language in our contracts a little bit. And hopefully from what I understand from Lynn Butler, the bands, if they're not insured, I was driving me crazy. If the bands are not insured, there's an insurance company that will insure them for something like $100
For one day.
for one day. So maybe if we, are paying $500 for a band, maybe it's in Lynn's budget to pay that extra $100 for the insurance, what have you. I don't know. That's something to come down the road, but that's what it's looking like. Okay.
Lori, do they have what they need for Carnival? Do you know?
Do we have what?
Does the insurance have what they need for Carnival? Or are they still looking for documents?
So
Or
I gave them all the documentation, filled out every question they had, and I'm waiting to hear back
Okay.
for a dollar amount. But they know we do it, so we'll see. I think at first when they heard Carnival, they were like, "What?" Right? Like wheels and roundups, and So I think this gave them a better. We presented a large document of beach games and Carnival Festival, and everything we do, and how many people we have, and how many groups of kids are allowed, and how they're the guardians come with, like Lisa does the wristbands. They have to get the wristband. That's how guardians with them and so forth. So I think we presented well, Lisa.
okay, good.
And we're very well organized. So thank you.
Of course. Thank you.
Okay. Anything else on insurance or assets? Okay, we're gonna move on. Properties.
Updates on properties. We had a lot of activity. So that the branch that came down on the 33 Ridgewood Walkway lookout, that whole tree we took the tree down and ground the stump, and the fences have been replaced. And then the 33 Ridgewood homeowners are working on replacing their own, they wanted to do their own work, buy their own materials. And I think they purchased half of this stuff. Is that right, Laura? You've got half of it, yeah.
Yeah.
So so they're taking care of that. I do not know poor John Allegra's schedule. We're still waiting on that walkway and Little Beach work. The Papalizios and the Butlers repaired and actually refurbished the bench that was donated to Joan Hibbert down there. It looks beautiful at Little Beach. If anyone's seen it, they did a really nice job. And then they took the picnic table up and thought they'd power wash it, thinking maybe they could resurrect it. It needed to be replaced. So then another Papalizio donated a new picnic table, which arrived today. So Little Beach has a 6-foot picnic table and the bench revived. So it's
Nice.
it's good down there.
Nice.
The branch that or tree at Second Beach was cleared up like right away. Thanks for putting those cones out. Craig, I did ask him to check out that grate at First Beach. It's full of sand. He said that he thinks the screws are stripped. I think he should just figure out how to do the project and just do it. I don't know anything about strip screws, but
Well,
you
you
know.
can chase them and make them
Yeah.
bigger or
I
something.
have no idea.
Or drill it out.
That's what I'm saying, with a chase and then just,
Yeah.
so I think, if I recall correctly, Alex said the same thing.
Oh,
When he did it, he took them out but he said they were stripped.
oh, okay.
If I recall correctly.
I was wondering, yeah. So,
Yeah.
And then you have the
Quite-
yeah,
Yeah,
I
it
can't
came out
recall.
great.
Yeah, it looks beautiful. So
Don't get
that's
any
great.
credit, just use the phone. That's all. So he did the work.
He did a great job.
Yeah.
It looks really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mary Papalizio has put up a sign now at First Beach. We took the bag out of the one,
I saw that.
and we're saying collecting
Oh, yeah.
for the
recyclers.
playground. Yeah, for the wheel. So the bag is gone now. People, and it worked today. We went down there. It was only bottles and cans, plastic.
Good idea.
Hey, I had an idea, and by all means, tell me if it's crazy, but while you guys were playing Family Feud, and I was sitting on the wall there, and I was sitting right next to the garbage pails, I'm like, why do we have them on this side and where like people eat instead of on the other side where people don't eat?
Well, I think because they'd have to walk around the wall, throw it away, or reach over the wall.
No, not on the other side of the wall, on the other side of the gate. The pails are here, the gate coming into the beach is here. Why don't we
What do
just
you mean
put
by the sign?
like in front of the?
I think
yeah.
it's just conveniently located. I have no idea. They've
There's
been there
always
for.
bees and everything, and people don't sit at that
I'm
bench.
getting all excited about that. I don't know.
Well, I was sitting there, and I'm like, well, Rob came up to me, and I'm like, it's not me.
I don't know. I guess that's where they've always been. It doesn't mean they have to stay there. If somebody wants to move them, you're welcome to.
I
move
don't know, just happened to be sitting there thinking, why do we keep them here where people eat? Anyway, just
Good.
a thought.
them. You're welcome to move them.
Okay.
You're in that committee.
I'm on it. I'm on it. Just sit there and watch.
I will.
I was watching you guys play Family Feud.
We had a great time.
I know. That was good. Okay, I digress.
I think that's kind of it for properties. Anybody have any questions on properties?
Okay,
The Team Reach site is working well.
It's a great thing.
People just step up and if there's something, they post it there and then people help out if they can. So I think it's a nice approach.
yeah. So my properties and public safety are gonna kind of overlap a little bit because we're gonna talk about some other stuff. Which I'm thinking Team Reach thing and all that, but, so if we're done with properties, does anybody have anything on properties? And really, Lisa, we're looking at the screen, it's you. So, Miss Sophie.
I'm good. Thank you.
Security.
Okay.
Yeah, I think those things.
There's a food line. Okay, so public safety, parking passes are coming up. We're talking about, doing them a little differently. I talked with Dave Burton, a while ago, but so how it exists now is Carolyn Crest keeps a list. Everybody that gets their parking passes is yellowed out. And she is very, very particular. If you haven't picked up your parking passes, they're white. If you have had your parking passes, but yet needed another set, they're orange, you're orange. And the ones that you previously had, she notes on the side, they're no longer valid, but who knows that? And then there are some, which this is an issue, some who sell their homes or their properties and only give back 2. And they keep 2. So those are orange. And there'll be a little note on the side of her thing.
And just for clarification, you're meaning on her list, these colors,
Yeah.
because we currently have orange parking tags.
Yes, I'm sorry. So on her
Right.
list, on her spreadsheet, so this is how she's been keeping track of the parking passes. So one thing we need to figure out is when people sell their houses and they only give 2, my thought was, well, if you're keeping 2, that means you're either going to use them or planning to use them and use our amenities. So perhaps if you close and you do not return 4 parking passes, you pay $100 a piece for each parking pass. So I presented that to Carolyn. She's at a lot of the closings, but we would have to figure out how to work that. And I think that would help people or give them a little more incentive to return their parking passes. So, and then in turn, what happens is, so there's a particular family here that said, I didn't get any, but there's another family here that sold them the house and still has those original 4 parking passes. So that original family has 8. And now the new family had none, and now they have 4. So we have to figure out how to work that out. So the family that sold that house should have paid $400. You want to use the amenities.
I feel like once you sell the house and you're no longer a resident, you shouldn't get to pay to use the amenities.
You shouldn't, but if you
Right.
don't turn in your passes, what are we gonna do?
Right, so can we think of something
That's
else?
my point.
It's more of a
It's
fine.
a fine. It's an
Okay.
incentive
Yeah.
to give your
I know what you're
passes
talking
back.
Okay,
But and I'm not saying I want you to use our amenities.
Right.
I'm not saying I want you to come back, but if you're not gonna give us our passes and we do nothing about it,
Right.
but we need to come up with a solution.
so I'm thinking about like when you have oil in your tank at the closing, right?
Yeah.
So this could be like one of those
Yes.
things, the passes have to be at the closing, and if they're not, do your fine.
Yep.
Okay,
Well, the attorney has to be privy to that. And
Well, of
if it's
course,
not
of
Carolyn,
course.
if it's
Well,
a strange real estate agent, they may not even
so
know.
that's
We can-
how we would have to.
Right.
We would have to figure out, so for instance, if Carolyn stays on and does the passes for the next time, and someone comes to her and says, hey, I just bought this property, but I didn't get any passes at the closing. Well, now we know who they bought from.
Mhm.
And I don't know if we go back to them, or it would be something we would work out with the attorney. I don't know.
well,
But-
if we added to the bylaws, right, or rules and regs, I'm not
Right.
sure.
Bylaw.
That packet is supposed to be there at the closing, so whatever the realtor is, they should read that information and include that in the closing documents, right?
I think it's something to run by Adam, how we can better manage that. Because I was surprised, when her and I just had that conversation, because we were talking about getting new passes and so forth. So that was one thing on the parking passes, is how to manage people who lose them, people, So we were talking about perhaps putting a section where the address actually gets printed out. So when we print out the
That's
passes,
like,
124 Wildwood gets more printed out, 124 Wildwood.
well,
Yeah. And then
And
you know
it's-
what they're for, yeah.
And it's right on
Yeah.
your thing.
Yeah.
Again, I'd have to ask Adam. I don't know if that's,
Well, you can put it away if you want. You don't have to leave it out, except when you're using the parking lot, right?
right, but I don't know if that's legal. I just have to find out if it's legal. But, so that was one thing we were thinking, is just putting the addresses on there. So, because now, I mean, we don't have a means or a right to look up somebody's license plate, but we can look at the number on the tag and we can trace back to who owns those parking passes. So those are coming up. So I just think of, think about it. because those are the issues.
I think putting the address on them is a fabulous idea.
Do you, Lisa?
I do.
Okay.
Could be a privacy issue if the attorney feels.
That's the only thing I'm worried about is a privacy issue.
I mean, it's attached to the property, not the person, right? So it's not, you're not putting names on there. It's just addresses, right?
Yeah, but at least it's, your vehicle now has an address on it that anyone can see. That's what she's talking about, privacy.
Unless okay.
Yeah, so I just,
Okay,
um,
good point.
They
okay,
can see when you're parked in the parking lot. So that's not so bad as seeing all the time everywhere. It's not like
Okay,
a tape sticker on your.
right, right.
You know,
Right. When you're on
when you're using it, when
property
you put
owners,
it out,
you know,
community.
property
Right.
and you have it out, but is it still a privacy issue
Don't know.
even
Don't
with
know.
everybody, you know? So if there's anything else you can think of on how to manage that. I'm all ears, because it's coming up, they're gonna expire in 26. So signage and work parties. So Friday, I had Dewey Pile, the truck delivery come, and they had my 2 pallets on their truck that they were delivering. One was the posts and one was the signs for all the signage that we just purchased. And then, well, the man, I gave him my address because it's hard to, and then we went down to the parking lot. I said to him, "You have 2 pallets for me, right?" And he goes, "I got 1 pallet for you." Okay. I go, "No, you got 2." He goes, "Well, when we stop, I'll look." So he stops, he opens the back of the truck and it's like empty.
no,
They're not, that was the last stop, I think. So it was sitting on, the posts came, the signs did not come. So I have to get on it. He said Monday, they're on the loading dock in Southington. So they will be coming, but what I was thinking is, for each beach district, we're gonna start using the district thing because people get confused. So for each beach district, maybe we can have a separate work party, and maybe the district board members can kind of, we'll put it on Team Reach.
Yeah.
Pick a day or 2 to have the work parties. And, you know, I have a whole, this is the,
And then the at-large guys, you each take a beach.
yeah, going around.
Yeah.
So, so I have the whole, you know, where they all need to go, what goes on each beach.
The signs on both ends, north and south, is there gonna be signs attached to those? Oh,
Those, Jeff, we want to have made by Camaro, because those are beautiful signs and they're not like no parking. They're, you know, we want to put something nice on there. So that'll come after. But since I ordered these, the insurance company is also requiring us to put more signage around the detention basin. We need no fishing or swimming signs for Second Beach.
So what I think, I did the measurements, okay? And so the 2 fishing areas that are, you know, on the east side of the lagoon, I think it's between, if we had a sign that says fishing permitted within 12 feet, okay? So if the sign is smack dab in the middle and 12 feet on either side of the sign, that would meet the requirement of not being within 25 feet of the swimming
How
area.
about fishing between signs
yeah, I like that.
only?
Then we need 4 signs because there's 2 little areas. One that's kind of where the I don't know if channel's the proper term, but
The lagoon?
one fishing area is kind of where the channel is, where the boats leave the lagoon.
Oh, okay.
And then one's on the back of the beach facing the street and the lagoon. So there's two fishing areas there. I was told that there was one kind of over by the boat launch, but that's really tight and not appropriate at this point.
All right, so why don't we walk down there and we'll kind of feel it out and,
Yeah, I just figured if we had a one sign and you could fish on 12 feet of either side of the sign, but that's it.
and that gets ambiguous.
Yeah.
For some people, because some people think 12 feet is this much.
Exactly.
And some people think it's this much.
Yeah, I just used the measure app while I
You do,
walked and
but-
did all that.
They're not.
Another idea with the between two sides, well, maybe have like a yellow dot on top of it and another yellow dot.
I mean, we don't want it to be like, you know,
So sign, we're getting so heavy in signs.
exactly.
Is it?
So,
It's sad.
And we got to do something about the boat launch. I don't know if the sign is going to do it, but, and I know it's probably in another conversation. We talked about cameras. I think the launch needs a camera.
so I think the second beach launch.
Yes, there's a
So-
lot of, misuse. complaints.
So I think, so what I talked to Dave Burton about is if we got a Ring camera and we found a neighbor that is willing to let us use their Wi-Fi, we'd also monitor their home. It was an idea. I thought it was kind of cool. There's probably like, I don't know, 6 or 7 houses there that would, their Wi-Fi would probably reach, but something to think about.
What type of misuse?
There was a construction tank vehicle drawing water from the lake.
I heard
And,
that.
and,
I heard
um,
something weird about
and
that.
I looked it up. You can get a permit to draw water, but if you got a permit, you would be drawing from the state boat
State
launch,
launch,
not a
uh-huh.
private boat
Yeah.
launch.
And they could have been confused. They could have been.
Yeah.
Because there's not really a sign that says private boat launch.
Yeah, so that's what, do we need a sign? Do we need a camera or whatever? There's lots of issues about who's fishing where and whose boat is where and who parks without a tag and
So somebody made,
all sorts of stuff.
somebody said something to the effect that the whole lagoon is used for the fishing derby, which I don't know. I don't think we've had that lately, but
No,
That's
it's
what I
not
heard.
on there this year.
no, it wasn't last year, but when I first came here, they have fishing derbies every year. And supposedly it was in the lagoon.
Right, but if you
Is
had an event, right, and that event would take precedence, like when we had the second beach camp out, some other people saw us putting up tents and said, you have to get permission to put up tents. And I said, this is a POLA event, so that's only for this one instance that they're allowed. So I would think if there is a fishing derby, it's fishing maybe everywhere, a whole lagoon for that one period of time.
All right, so
And no
let
swimming.
me tell you what
Okay.
my concern is.
Mhm.
So fishing is hooks,
Yes.
lines,
Oh, yeah, that's right.
rigs, all of that.
Leftovers.
So do people actually, like they launch their kayaks in the lagoon, right?
Yes.
So their feet are in the lagoon
They're
or,
on the shore
Yes.
right there, yeah.
and people
Okay,
are
you're right. So maybe we should.
fishing there?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, the two fishing areas that I were told were previously designated are one's kind of on the side where the channel is, so, away from the swim line, and the other one is kind of facing where not the playground, but where
Yeah.
the
It's just
boats are
around that.
moored.
Second beach goes like that. It's right here's fishing and here on this backside.
So let's walk it and let's see.
Yeah,
Because there's signage that'll go up there, which I'll,
okay.
not for fishing yet. We don't have anything for fishing, so we'll talk about that. We have, every third post on the parking is getting a no parking or towed at owner's expense. Blah, 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 blah.
Mhm.
You can't, it's unfortunate that it's a long parking lot like that, but you won't be able to miss them. And that it's private property. But, and I can tell you more of what's in the second beach district for signage and first beach district. And third beach district. Really love signs. But also, so the North Reserve Beach I missed. And that one, we also need a sign. It's the second year in a row. We've had people tying up to that dock that's out there. It's for kayakers. They can't launch other than using that dock. There's kayak racks there. And then when people tie up, they tie their pontoon boat, they can't launch.
Mhm.
So we need to put a sign before you get to the dock, I think. You know, no, just whatever, kayakers
Oh,
or something. But, so that's.
paddlers only.
Yeah, the muck there is, I'm not exaggerating, is about 3.5 feet deep because I stepped off the dock thinking I could step on, and I kept sinking and I had to
Ooh,
get back. I went up to my waist. So it's very, that's why they have that dock. They can't, there's no other way.
That's
to
the only way they
launch.
can launch.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, so it makes it really, really difficult when there's and there was just two there. And last year we had, I think we had
Two,
two.
yeah, different ones.
So it needs a sign. And then, oh, Little Beach, this is second year we wound up with
I don't know about a sign there. Too
something.
many signs. No, let's just educate our membership. There are too many signs. I don't want to put a sign there.
what sign are you suggesting?
So between, the neighbor to the north of Little Beach and Little Beach where you swim,
Mhm.
people keep parking pontoon boats there.
Yeah, there should not be a pontoon boat where people swim.
Right. So, second year in a row, and we still haven't figured out who this person is yet. And I believe did you put it on?
I did.
You did, okay.
And the more complaints or concerns that we get about watercraft, the more it leads me to feel that we need a more systemic way of dealing with watercraft on community property. I mean, it's.
Well, we used to do boat stickers, which goes back to like
Yeah.
the parking tags, you know, and then the year I got the boat stickers, next year we didn't need them anymore.
Yeah, me too.
Okay. So we can, so right now we're throwing out stuff.
That way we can identify at least what
The vessel.
address it belongs to.
Well, so that's what we went to, that you must have your
Oh,
address
yeah.
on your vessel.
Yeah.
Yeah, but where do we all look? I mean, where on the vessel should
Maybe
it
we
be?
should say
And again, that pontoon that was
aft.
parked in the swim area at Little Beach, or maybe still is, I don't know. You know, I had to get in the water to put a sign on it. And I wasn't gonna walk around the whole thing to hunt down if there was an address on it.
I didn't see that.
We should identify where the address should be.
Right. So if we went back to the stickers, then we need another Carolyn Crest to monitor like all the stickers and the addresses that go with them. It is a lot more work. And of course, those would probably go right underneath your registration or whatever, so you wouldn't.
That would be where it would go.
Right. Right.
But we don't register kayaks or john boats or anything like that, so we just need a little, whether we say
How about
on
we,
starboard at the front or
Yeah.
whatever, just give it,
Right.
you know, choose a location where it's gonna be.
why don't we just, like this one that we haven't figured out whose it is, why don't we just publish it in the newsletter? Who belongs to this boat? It must be moved. Why
Or-
don't we
or-
should be doing that,
Or do we put in a newsletter or an email blast?
whatever you want to do.
Yeah, either.
But just get it out there for the majority of the community.
When did you leave the notes?
Nancy.
It was about a week ago.
And you,
Wait, I mean,
So
well, no, it's okay. I mean,
It was
approximate,
there, it
right?
was there today.
And
today is Monday, so I would think Thursday at the latest, or I'll look.
so they had the weekend and several days to contact you.
if they were to say, well, there's no sign, it's because, well, it's a swimming area. That's it. Reverts back to that.
And we don't have to have a sign. There's no mooring. There's no approved.
Right.
Pola mooring there. They put their own mooring in.
Okay.
All right.
And then, you know, and then I had signage to the north and south entrance, but that would be a different company that we use, you know, that we use Camaro. You know,
I can't figure it out. I have to count it.
yeah, it's okay, Nancy. It's just, I mean, it's been days and we haven't heard anything and
It was Tuesday. You put it on Wednesday.
Okay, so it should be, I would say within 48 hours of when you get a note like that, you've taken care of it.
Well, no,
But
it's
again,
okay,
somebody
gotta
might
know.
not be here.
Right,
That's what you-
right,
Yeah,
right,
a week at the most. Yeah.
right.
And if we had an address, we could send them a letter.
Right. So let's so we're gonna think about parking passes. We're gonna think about, do we want to go back to boat stickers? And if we do, we need somebody to manage that.
Just location, I like your idea. The address needs to be on the boat.
Yeah, we need that.
Just say where on the boat it needs to be, and then we just,
I like that better. I like your address better.
Yeah.
So then now you know where to go look. And I think, we say all vessels. I think last year there was I could get this wrong, it's like a sailboat.
Mhm.
And it was blocking the kayaks from getting in at Little Beach.
I remember that.
Remember that? Sunfish, something. And we had a hard time figuring out who that was. So I don't know. I think maybe we still say all vessels.
all those things.
Because even when we remove them in November, sometimes it helps us to identify somebody who may have forgot to remove their vessel. So I think all vessels, not just.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to use the boat launch to launch your vessel off and on, and you don't keep it at any of our community locations, then maybe you don't need a sticker. But
Right.
if you're gonna leave your vessel at one of our community
For our
locations.
For our racks.
Or racks, yeah, then you do need a sticker.
So I don't know if that's in our bylaws. I know there's boat rules and regs, and we're redoing rules and regs, but I think.
What is your question?
The writing
Yeah, it says you need to have your address on the boat.
it does.
Yes,
The
That's
regs,
in the bylaws.
it's in the.
regs, the regs,
It's in the rules
okay.
and
Yeah.
regs.
So,
So we'd have to add to the regs.
okay. So I think that sounds like a solution. Lisa, you agree with that? Sophie?
Do you have a thumb up?
Okay.
Yes.
We
All
got you.
boats must be clearly marked with owner's name and address. It doesn't say where.
Okay, so
Name.
we'll add where.
Clearly marked with name and address, name on the boat.
Owner's name and address is what it says.
Oh, yeah, I think I did put
Yeah.
my last name on
Last
the boat.
name.
Now, yeah, but I've never seen it when it's been noticed that you need to put your address. That's all I've ever heard was address, never name. So maybe
So- Okay.
take name out and put location on vessel. So we're working on the rules.
Pola address. Yeah,
Well, no, she's saying no. Oh, yeah, but yeah.
your Pola address.
And
Yeah.
the location on the vessel. So wherever we decide.
Yeah, the location of the sticker or address or whatever.
So I will, I'll reach out to beach district reps. Jeff, you're at large at first.
Yeah. Help out there.
Okay, well, I'm kind of
Who's
at
like
large.
third? Who's third beach? Sobe?
Sophie. Me or Sophie, but, you're vacant right now.
Yeah.
So I'll help out with Second Beach
For
because I'm at
the
large
work project.
for the work project for the
For signs.
signs.
Yeah, so what we have, that's a communication issue because I'm not on any of these apps yet.
So, all right.
And we need to find a way to communicate maybe for people that aren't on the app.
So we'll work with that.
Okay.
We'll work on that.
Yeah.
Okay. I did miss that in my president's report.
That's okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna move on from signage unless anybody else, so we do need more signs. I'm pretty sure I met the max of the do not exceed with we got two additional cameras. So I did a max of do not exceed 3,500, and I think, Lisa Holber, are you are you? I can't get a good video anyway.
You cannot hear me.
I had to find you. I have a million tabs open.
Sounds like me.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
What's
Um, did I meet my maximum do not exceed at 3,500 with the, I don't remember how much the cameras were altogether with the signs. And I don't think there's enough to cover to do the rest of these.
You want to know how, oh, that's right. You asked me, have you spent your, what was your max?
3,500. So while she looks,
And it's all public safety, Lori?
yes, yep. I think there was one for 2,000.
Okay. You spent signage, 2892.34. I got it. I got it.
And then the cameras.
The parking lot reflective chain.
Oh, yeah. Oh, we got a thing for that too. I just saw it in the properties room, like, we don't know.
You spent 3377.39.
Yeah, all right, so that leaves like $125. So that's not to finish getting the signs. So we'll come up with another number based on Nancy after we walk. I think Third Beach is okay with the signage that we got, but I'll go over that with them. And then First Beach or First Beach District, I'll talk to First Beach people about what the plan is there. And we can talk more. And Greg's not here and the other one's vacant, so.
So the only way to get a camera is if we have a Wi-Fi. That's why we can't have one on the launch.
Correct.
Mm.
Okay, yeah. We have right next to the launch, there's a pole. Some kind of light or something, so there's electricity there,
Oh, yeah.
but we don't have Wi-Fi.
Hmm.
So I was thinking maybe asking the Sudelos.
Yeah, but they're only there. Well, I guess the summer's better than not at all.
Well, that's usually when we have most of our, I mean,
Yeah.
nobody's going in the winter.
Right.
Right, right.
Well, they might
Well,
pull sleds out.
You
but
know,
that would
if
be-
the youthful activity moves down there, sometimes that might happen.
So that was the other reason why Dave and I talked about it, because have had a lot of activity at First Beach,
Mhm.
but we don't know what's happening down at Second and Third.
It's not reported.
I don't want when you chase them off first, they run to second. and
She
third.
did.
Yeah.
Lisa, can you let them in?
I did.
Thank you. Do you know who that is? Oh, it's Brian, I think, Smith. Hi, Brian.
Hello.
So
Yeah, just have to think on that for a while, just to see if we can figure any solutions.
right, and I will see,
Yeah.
but it was a good option that he thought of, you know, and then the kickback would be we monitor your, you know, it looks at their house too,
Mhm.
so we'll see. Okay. Fireworks. We all know fireworks aren't allowed on pool property, right? So just gonna broach this really quickly. We did have an incident with fireworks on, actually we had a couple, but one particular one did then the one I'm referring to was the one I requested in executive session. As things unfolded, the police wound up doing an investigation, and the investigation was satisfied. The attorney had recommended that we do not have an executive session unless something else goes forward and the board needed to make any decisions. That is not the case right now. So that is why we canceled the executive session. There was just no need for it. So I just wanted to say that, because I mentioned that I would, but as we all know, everybody knows, I think our insurance company, they're having a canary with carnivals. Can you imagine if we're having fireworks on the pool? Everybody knows we don't have fireworks on pool property. However, we will officially write it and it will be on the rules and regs signs.
Mhm.
Just so for those that might forget. And then lastly, public safety is a huge part of our meeting tonight. Next week is budget. But security, so I did talk to Dave Burton. He gave me the name of 2 security companies that, through his work, he's heard are good, Ace and A1.
Yeah, Ace is big. Yeah.
Yeah, so, and then they'll work any hours that we want. So I'm gonna call them, and Lisa Sobey also did some research on some security companies as well. So I'm gonna call them and see what their cost is. Dave Burton talked about doing a full 30-day, night sweep, day sweep, and then go down to weekends, so that the word's out that we're patrolling, we're looking. I have to say, most recently, I haven't encountered too much going down to the courts at night or anything. And
And maybe
maybe
around the 4th, you had more people around the 4th. Dave Burton ran them off the first speech.
yeah, that was the last, around
that
the
was
4th. So, and today's the 20th or something. What's today? I don't know what today's.
21.
21. So it's been a couple of weeks, but yeah, there was 10 kids they had to be from Colchester, lighting off fireworks down the beach.
Is meaning like legal kids or young people?
Well, they were able to drive.
Okay.
So when he asked them to leave, and told them he didn't ask them if they lived here, but when he told them they had to leave it by 11, because right now our like say 11 o'clock. It was like, I don't know, 5 of, and they all flew out of the parking lot in their cars. And so that was all I could see, because the cameras, the way they face, I can't see the parking lot, which we're going to fix that.
Mhm.
We have a camera now that will face the parking lot and one that will face the beach. We just have to install them. So, but that was the last thing I've encountered. But it was pretty consistent for a while.
Yeah, is it officer again?
And I think locking the courts at night has helped. It's a little bit of a pain in the rear end, but it's helped. So that's it on public safety, unless anybody has anything.
Circle back for a quick moment.
Absolutely.
For parking, if someone doesn't have a center.
Yeah.
Okay, so then what do? We see somebody down there, what does Dave recommend? We say, James,
Dave.
Dave. What does Dave recommend? We see a car and
So right now,
what's our enforcement of that?
So right now, we do what we've always done. Soon, once our signs go up,
Mhm.
the plan is to, at night, when the courts are locked, I brought reflective chain to go across the parking lot. It's a suggestion, and it means if you move it and you're in there, you're trespassing.
Okay.
And the chain will say private property hanging, so there's a center thing. You hang the chain, it's plastic chain, reflective. And so I'm thinking it drapes from one side to the other. It's private property. Easy to
Right,
put,
that's security, it's just,
And this would be up at First Beach parking lot. What about the other 2?
so the other 2 are getting signage that you can't miss.
Okay.
So if you're parked there at night, or past hours, you're trespassing.
Mhm.
And so that's why it'd be every third, so your fence that goes there, every third beam will have one.
So there's one vehicle that's parked in Second Beach parking lot regularly and enough such that I've seen that they're using one of the pontoon boats that's moored there. They do not have a tag. I don't know who they are.
Maybe that pontoon boat should be there either.
I don't know if the
That's a good
pontoon
point.
boat should be there or not, but, you know, it also had a generator running until 10 PM on the night of the camp out. Thankfully, it shut off itself at 10 PM because at 10 PM I was going to contact the authorities. But
All right, so in the properties closet, there is those tags that say you're parked here, you shouldn't be, you're trespassing.
so if I could get a handful of those for,
They're in the
Yeah,
closet.
they're in the properties closet.
Purposes.
Oh,
We should
Evelyn
go.
said she moved them to the pickleball thing or something. I don't know why.
Oh,
But
maybe because it's right at the parking lot.
maybe, but there should be some in the,
well, maybe when we do our walk or.
we'll
you'll
do our
help
what,
me.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So for now, we'll put those on.
So you just stick it under the windshield wiper and
Yeah.
that's that.
Yep.
Okay.
And if you want to write on there,
Mhm.
you know, if you have any questions, to call you or call me or
Mhm.
whatever.
But what about at 2 o'clock in the afternoon on any day of the week, and there's somebody without a sticker permit? So then what's the course? of
You
action?
you do that for now.
Right.
Until we get our signage up.
You put
You
a
put
piece of
those,
paper on their
Right.
car. Okay.
When do you anticipate getting this, security company? Because I think the security company's gonna handle a lot of this, you know?
right.
But
Well,
when
they're faced with
So we
an
could-
obstacle too.
yeah,
They're saying, okay, you don't have a parking sticker, you gotta leave by the,
Yeah.
like he says. Yeah, you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right, right.
yeah.
Don't engage in,
Right.
yeah.
no, but the security guy, he could say that's the security guy, but he's a security guard and then we'll have our signs up and then he could report him to the police.
But until our signs are up and it's in their
Lay low,
face,
Yeah,
Okay.
just put the
Got
thing
it.
up and
so when do we anticipate, I'm sorry? This security company, when do they start?
Dave just gave me the name.
Right, so, but do we, I
It'll
mean, if
take
we
a
call
little
them
time.
and how long is it, I mean, do you think, oh,
I literally just got
Still
it.
too premature, I guess. until we
Yeah.
have more
Yeah.
information. Yeah.
So I will look into the two that Dave gave me. I literally just got them.
Years ago, we knew somebody. But they just drove around and just, you know,
Right, so that's kind of where it'll be a control, and as far as their authority, if somebody gives them grief,
Right.
they call the police.
But they're usually uniformed
Yep,
and they're confident enough to
I
talk to
agree.
people in, you know, in parking lots. They're used to doing that.
so that was Dave's recommendation, a full-on 30 days, you know, whether it be a 4-hour window of our most popular time, Saturday and Sunday, you know, 4-hour window, and then maybe nighttime during the week or, you know, overage. I don't know. Again, I have to find out the cost and then we have to talk about
Mhm.
our ability to afford that.
it won't be cheap.
No, it won't be.
No.
But once the word's out,
Yeah.
then then we taper off. And if unfortunately we need to up it again, then we up it again. Okay, any more on public safety? Okay, and at some point we'll get Dave to join in too, and hopefully he'll be part of our work parties. So let's see. So we're gonna move on. We have Lynn Butler marked as events, and it's not really Lynn. I think we wanted to talk about Lake Hayward Days and the raffles and permits, which I literally just got the information from Linda Zimajewski today, who is Irene Haynes' administrative assistant. So 9 documents of how to get permits, what permits are, there's Class A, there's Class B, there's raffles, there's bazaars, there's all kinds of things. So I will look into that and we'll talk more. We already talked about the bands and the insurance. We've talked about the same thing with the food trucks. I don't know about if they run into the same thing with the $100, if they can get insurance for a day if they didn't have it, but so we'll have to look into that too. Really, that's, I just wanted to talk about that, but we've kind of covered it elsewhere.
No, just your frame photo is the same as the one to the right now.
Oh,
It's cute.
Very observant.
It was just cute.
thank you. Okay, so I just wanted to make sure we mentioned that, that's all. I think by now, everybody knows we need permits. Why we never got it before, I don't know. I
A lot of people know where raffles aren't legit without, yeah. People know that.
I listen, since I've been here, I never heard a thing about permits or anything like that. So, we're just trying to do what's right, I guess, right? Okay, rental. So we were going to review the draft of the rental committee versus the rules and regs that we currently have. And everybody knows we've been waiting a year to update those rules and regs for the rental committee to come through. So Julia took a look today, and honestly, it's not a whole lot that,
Do you want to remind everybody what our attorney said? So we received, so we received an email from and Lori chime in because you know more about this, from the rental committee with the recommendations. It was in January sometime. And then you forwarded that to our attorney for his review. And then we all have it. And then he came back and said their requests on page 1, mostly highly illegal, like the registration of the, requiring them to register, the minimum rental age, the minimum rental period, occupancy per week. That's all that's illegal. But he said the stuff on page 2, the rules that they wanted to add, rules and regs, we could probably do most of those. So I took a look at those compared to our current rules and regs, and we are updating. We are waiting to update them based on this. The first one was noise ordinance from 10 to 8 a.m. quiet hours. We don't have that in our rules and regs, and we talked about putting that in. So that would be needed to be added. The next one is noise.
I don't think it should be 10 to 8.
Okay, noise. Okay.
I think we should at least, we have bands until 11 o'clock.
well, so with the exception of a Property Owners Association of Lake Hayward sponsored event.
Let me back up a minute. We can talk about, this will get circulated.
All right,
I'm
we'll
just-
talk about specifics at a later date.
Yeah.
I don't
sorry,
want to
should've
shut
said that.
things down at 10
Yeah.
o'clock. Once a year, I have a gathering and I don't want it to shut down at 10.
So we can, let me just give you the ones that we can work on, that we can, that we feel we can include, that they've requested. Well, the details will work out. Okay, so then they had quiet hours, and they're suggesting from 10 to 8 a.m. A lot of people are mowing their lawns at 7 in the summer, so. They also suggested no street parking, but in our charter, it talks about we have the right to regulate our roads, but that's when we own the roads. In
We don't.
1950,
We don't know.
we no longer own them except for one, Glimmer Glen, and Pilgrim Way is privately held by all those owners. So we can no longer, we can't regulate parking on
Right.
roads. So that doesn't work.
That needs to come out.
So, and then it also talks about limiting the number of cars on these rentals on a private property. We can't do that either. So that wouldn't happen. And then they talk about the parking passes, of course. Yes, we know that. No overnight parking, that's already in there. They talk about a 10-mile-an-hour speed limit. Again, we can't do that. That's a town thing because we don't own the roads. They say no glass permitted on beaches, which is already on there, but they also say no beach tents. And I'm seeing more and more beach tents go up. So I don't know how we can, that's something we can talk about. Again, beach tents,
Yeah, a lot of people use shade, but I know, why would they say that? I know people are concerned about umbrellas and wind because umbrellas cause harm in wind, but why would that committee
I don't know.
want
I
no
can't-
beach
Were
tents?
people sleeping?
We don't know. I don't know.
We don't
We don't know.
These are so old.
No, they know it's so old. They came
No,
to us in
this-
January.
this is-
I'm
The
sorry.
draft,
The
the draft.
suggestions.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I can't I can't answer to what.
Yeah, I get it. I get it.
So they're saying no beach tents. I don't know why. We can look into that one. We can look into it.
And again, whatever we do, enforcement, we're having a hard enough time enforcing, who's parking in our parking lot. I don't want to have to go ask somebody to
Oh,
take
no.
down their shade structure.
Okay.
Let's just say no overnight.
Right, and there's no overnight, the beach,
There's no overnight
and the beaches
anyway.
are closed at, well, the new
11?
sign, well, the new
10.
sign's gonna be
That's
10.
true.
The
Okay.
beach is supposed to be
10.
10, so anyway, that we can talk about as a, team, the beach tents. Then it says fishing in designated areas, which we know, fireworks not permitted. We know, we can say they're not permitted on Polar property, but I can't say you can't have it on your property. You can do whatever you want on your property, and then we can call the police and
Call the
say,
police because it's.
yeah, because it's a hazard to my house, because your stuff's falling on my house. You know,
So one of the things about something like that, fireworks are not permitted in the state of Connecticut except for those simple sparklers or whatever. So why are we restating a state law?
Because we need to.
Because
Okay.
it's becoming a problem.
becoming a problem. And then they can go to the grocery store and buy fireworks, the kind of cone.
Oh,
thing.
they can buy the kind
And
that
they-
are not.
And we don't want that
permitted.
either.
Okay.
At the grocery store.
And we don't
Right.
want it on our property, but they can certainly do it on their.
Right, so it's
It's legal.
That makes sense.
Yes.
none
On Polar property.
Right.
Yeah, okay, got it.
So, so we can only talk about Polar property, not their property. And then the last one was, the garbage must be placed in covered receptacles, which is fine.
Already in there.
Yeah, it's already in there. They did talk about that once they institute, the noise ordinance, if we go with these quiet hours, that they get $100 an hour fine for all, per hour when you're making noise. So that's in there.
And
And,
again, we'll need help with enforcement for that.
yeah, but
Right.
that's kind of all, that's the whole thing about the rules and regs. All these rules and regs are there, and enforcing them. I don't know if our public safety guy is going to be able to, or if we have a public safety committee, if Dave Burton is going to be able to give us some more guidance on how we can enforce some of these things. But honestly, you're right. It's not, I've experienced it that we're policing ourselves, and we live in a community where we would hope we were policing like I would police myself, and I wouldn't do,
Right.
it says I would follow the rules because I want to live in a nice community where we're following the rules. But we have a lot of people who are not. So you either have to self-police, or it's not going to work. For board members should not have the responsibility, in my opinion. The board members should not be the only people asking people to
Right.
follow our rules and regs.
However, we've also run into situations where we say, or we hear, well, where's that written? Because I don't see that written. What do you mean? How come it's not written? I can't find it, right?
Mhm.
So we need to write it.
So one of the complaints that I had recently was, why do the East Haddam Police, why are they not supporting us more? In terms of someone who had called about a trespassing and someone who had called about something else. And
Did they actually say there's somebody trespassing, or did they say there are people here that shouldn't be here?
I believe she used the word trespassing, but she felt like she was dismissed. And, I do understand, the police department, they've got to attend to more serious things first, and it's a distance and amount of time. So I feel like we should call the authorities for things that are concerning in regard to safety, and not overuse them about, I don't want to belittle anything by saying little things. I really don't want to do that. But I think we have to be, balance out where our needs are there. And if we do have the cameras or other things to support us, then we easily have the evidence and they're able to act.
Yes. Yes.
Just something to think about.
Yep.
And when we create new rules and regs, whether or not we are going to be able to.
They used to
enforce them.
swing by all the time, years ago. They were always here.
Well, we used to pay them
I
a
know.
lot.
But even prior to that, even
Right.
prior to Pam, they were swinging around.
But Dave Burton did say that he reached out to them and asked them to patrol more often. But so we can ask him about that as well. They might be down there. I'm up here. I'm not seeing them. I really don't know. As you all know, Dave himself had his car broken into.
That's right.
And I'm like, could they have picked anybody better? Jeez. Okay. So I think that was it. Thank you for doing that, Julia. And then, so we'll try to put something together to present in the August meeting about, the rental, the outcome of what the rental committee's efforts were.
But the complaints really have been minimal or non-existent this year. Am I
Right.
correct?
I think, I think part of the community was fearing that we were going so short-term rental that this volunteerism would discontinue and the community would become more transient.
Right.
And,
It swung the other way.
But I think it only swung the other way because of the community
Absolutely.
action, the petition, the committee.
right. I do know one person sold, actually two people sold, because of the uprising of,
Sure. Hullabaloo.
yeah. So, but we still owe it to the community to
Sure.
do our diligence. Okay, so I think we're pretty much
That
done,
was rentals.
right? So we'll go into unfinished business. I know, right? So kiosk replacement, the kiosks are in. They're in the tool shed, property shed. So I think maybe we can try to incorporate those with the district sign parties and so forth. The first speech one, I was thinking so we want to take that kiosk down that's there,
Right. On the wall.
put it on the
That's the
wall.
way it always was years ago. They had a whole cork board.
On the between the doors?
Yeah,
Between.
Or whatever this room. Don't forget, it would look different years ago.
Right.
But it was just a very inexpensive cork. board
Yeah,
that
I remember
you could
that.
just pick it up.
But
Yeah.
you in the pavilion, under.
Yes,
Okay.
under the owner.
yeah.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
then I was thinking, and I don't know if it's possible, Jeff, but I have a sign that's 24 by 30 that has the beach rules on it. I was thinking if we kept one of the posts, probably the leftmost one,
Mhm.
from that kiosk, we could put that. So as soon as you walk into that beach, you see the beach rules.
And the kiosk will last forever, being under the overhang.
Yeah, and then we have a new one for second beach and third beach, and they're smaller replacement, but that could be part of the work party as well.
And they would need posts or not?
They already have the posts,
Oh,
so
okay.
we just,
Screw it in, bolt it in.
Yeah. that's all it
It's
is.
just removing that, because to move it from first beach to the new location, you need the post, because she wants to use one of the posts for that.
Yeah, but so we tried to preserve what we had, and the posts themselves were actually in great shape, but this one we decided we don't want posts. It'll clean it up, it'll look nicer. I mean,
Yeah.
we're gonna put a sign there, but it's. So that could be part of the parties, and we'll talk about that and try to come up with a date. I mean, we're kind of shy at this board meeting, everybody, but, okay. So any questions on the kiosks?
No.
New business, August meeting set up, and I know we're gonna have a meeting prior to that, but our next meeting is gonna include the budget committee and I didn't know if that would take up a lot of time, but I think we're gonna try to do the same thing we did last time with the pop-ups, right?
Oh, yeah, for
For
registration,
chicken and
yeah,
registration. That worked out nice.
It did.
And then it kept like everybody from swarming the, and then I'm assuming that Craig will do the
sound
PA
system.
system and then, a table for, we'll YouTube it again. That'll be on the calendar. I can send out
Has
a,
anyone tried to access the YouTube thing?
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't tried.
yeah,
Just curious.
yeah, and I can send out that link again.
You did the email blast, right?
Yeah, yep, and just put that in your browser and you'll see, it's all our faces like this.
It's great.
Still,
Yeah. But it is nice, and eventually there will be a link on the website, and just click the link and it'll take you right to the channel. But Right now, we don't have that. So I want to remind everybody that next meeting is the budget vote. So if you haven't seen it yet, it did come out in the newsletter. It came out in an email blast. Make sure you look it over if you have any questions for the budget committee, because we will vote on that. And then lastly, I wanted to mention one other thing, if nobody has anything on the budget vote. The agenda. So I was looking on the general statutes of open meeting, and the requirement for an agenda to be posted is 24 hours. However, our bylaws state that a meeting must be noticed 7 days, a board meeting must be noticed 7 days in advance. And I believe somewhere along the line, somebody adopted posting the agenda as the announcement of the meeting.
Okay.
So it is not a law. I apologize, Nancy. It was our adopted law somehow. And so I think, out of consideration for the secretary that we need. So I think out of consideration for the secretary, when we have one, that it would be the secretary's decision on when they need to know if a committee or a board member has an agenda item that they want to talk about. Certainly you can tell me, I set the agenda with the secretary, but you could also go to the secretary, but we'll make that decision. But right now we'll continue to do the 7 days, especially because Lisa will be leaving us and we don't have a secretary right now. So let's stick with the 7 days. If anything comes up that's pertinent or, call me, email me, let me know, and we'll see what we can do or how we can work it in or talk about it.
You said that's in the bylaws or charter? I mean, rules and regs or bylaws?
Our bylaws says that the meeting must be noticed. It doesn't say the agenda must be set.
Can I say that our agenda language is so vague? I don't think it was a concern with anything I wanted to bring up. Our agenda most of the time doesn't have specific information, so it's easy to weave things in where needed. That's my perspective. I mean, as far as any Second Beach concerns in our meeting and how we're going to follow up on that, I think it's okay to wait a little while and gather some information.
I think if it's something that's going to, and so this is where the consideration is for me running the meeting and the secretary creating the agenda for that, is if it's something that may take an extended period of time, it's considerate to allow for that, not just try to weave it in.
No, but I mean, saying you probably need a camera on the boat launch, that doesn't take that length of time.
Right, and we're talking
You know,
about security.
Right.
So
Exactly.
but
for an
in
example.
general, I've always thought that our agenda language is really too vague. That's what I'm saying.
Right. Well, I think,
You want more specific?
I think actually.
If she wants, if you want to have, certain conversation included or excluded, I think we need a more specific agenda.
What if you want to kind of leave it open for that?
Yeah, then
free
that's okay.
flow of
Yeah.
Discussion.
I mean, I think we got a lot of topics here, and I can tell you for one thing, we didn't talk about peace tonight at all. I'm just saying, it's on the agenda. We didn't talk about it because it wasn't an agenda item. It wasn't about security, and it wasn't about public safety or assets or any of that. So I think if we pigeonhole ourselves too much, we're not gonna be able to have conversation. So I don't know. I'm okay with the agenda.
Just,
or the structure.
Yeah, I kind of like it the way it is, but I mean, we all are responsible, and if we're a committee chair, and if you don't say you have,
Right.
then you're not gonna speak to that night,
Right,
unless you weave it in under properties or something else, but.
right. But if it's something that's gonna take an extended period and it's
Well, yeah.
and it's courts and you're talking under properties,
that's a stretch.
Yeah.
yeah. And I mean, so for instance, like next week, we know the budget committee is having, gonna talk about the budget. We don't know how much time it's gonna take, but last year it took pretty much the whole meeting.
Yeah.
And, that's the plan for, so that's why we're saying, that and the August meeting is the big keys
Mhm.
for the next meeting. So if you have something that's gonna take time, we need to plan that.
Does that make sense?
Sure, yeah.
Okay. All right. Anybody have anything else?
You mentioned you missed something under your presence report. Could that be brought up under new business, or it's not necessary?
I just brought it up.
Okay,
It was about the gender.
okay. All right, I'm sorry. I didn't
I
know
know.
this is a specific topic.
So, well, I did, after I looked up the open meetings and I looked up the law,
Okay,
I called Nancy
Oh,
and I said, I'm sorry, and I will apologize to you. And I forgot to apologize to her. My president's forgiven. So I wanted to,
No
I wanted
worries.
to backtrack
All right.
on that.
okay, thank you. I just want to make sure you got what everything covered you wanted.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Does anybody have anything else?
Post to adjourn. Sorry.
Second.
Everybody in favor to adjourn?
Okay.
Have a wonderful night.
Take care.
Ciao.
Thank you.
Thank you.